guess who are actually killing people?
Welcome to the insanity.
Hello everybody, welcome back to Screenstars. I'm here today to bring you my review for the 2009 horror with a little bit of comedy thrown in, Scare Zone. A film that is written and directed by John Binkowski, and it stars Arian Ash, Chris Burns, Neil Bound Jr., Michelle Sims and Simon Needham. Now, interestingly, this was initially made in 2009. However, I've been sent this as a screener to review because it's getting a re-release through Terror Films. And the film essentially is, it focuses on one of those horror attractions that they have in the US around Halloween, where they'll take over a store for the Halloween weekend and turn it into like a haunted house, scare house sort of thing, Scare Zone in the purpose of this film. And then punters turn up, pay the money, walk through and get scared out of their socks. So there's this new attraction set up called Scare Zone. There's a new set of employees turn up to try and scare the punters. However, there is someone sinister lurking within this Scare Zone attraction, intent on taking out people involved in the attraction. Who it is, you'll have to watch the film to figure that out yourself. Right, what are my thoughts on Scare Zone? Well, in actual fact, this is a fairly well-made and watchable horror film, and I think one of the strengths with this film, certainly it was for me, was that it certainly had a lighter approach. It didn't take itself too seriously. Now, this isn't a full-on horror comedy, but it's definitely a light approach. There are certainly what you could describe as unbelievable characters, in the sense of they felt like cartoon characters, and there were cracking jokes here and there and that sort of stuff, and it certainly felt like a light horror comedy to me. But that's not to take away from the fact that there are some impressive kills that take place in this film as well. Essentially, it's a slasher film in many ways, and it does feel a little bit old-fashioned. That's hence why it was made in 2009, I guess. It is a little bit of a film of its time, even though that's not a long time ago. But it's fun and it's well made, and the performances here by everybody are what you would expect. They are light, they don't feel believable in any way, but they're not necessarily meant to feel believable. And thrown in for good measure is a small amount of characters for us to try and relate to, which I did appreciate. They weren't all caricatures, if you like, the characters. There were a couple in particular. The Arian Ash character, Claire, who plays a bit of a goth girl, who works at the attraction, takes the money and gives directions to the other staff members within the attraction. And she's carrying a lot of baggage, basically. And she starts a friendship with the Chris Burns character, Daryl. And they're like the main focus points of the characters here in regards to this film, and they're the most grounded and the characters that you can certainly relate to most. The rest of them, it's the usual, jocks and nerds and all this kind of stuff, and they're all kind of dialed up to 11. So it does give us a little bit of something to latch onto in regards to characters, at least, that feel a bit more grounded. It's kind of set over 3 nights, the film. The first night, it kind of all goes fairly smoothly. I think it's 3 nights. It might be 4, actually, but I think it's 3. And then things start going awry as people start turning up for work and they start going missing. I mean, it's quite... Again, one of the strengths why it doesn't take itself too seriously, because if it did, you could pull apart a lot of the plot holes here. I mean, the fact that these people are turning up for work at the Scare Zone and getting taken out left, right and centre by whomever it is lurking within the attraction, and nobody really questions it. The guy that runs the place, I'm not sure if is he called Oliver or something like that, pays everybody the wages and stuff. When they just don't turn up to work, nobody seems to make any attempt to contact them or their families or anything like that. And like I say, it's set over like 2 or 3 nights, and nobody gets in touch with the attraction, say, where's my brother, where's my daughter, where's my son? They were working for you at this attraction, because I know they were working for you this weekend. So you could pull it apart if you really chose to, but it's not one of those films that wants to really be taken seriously. So you do kind of can forgive the odd plot hole here and there. It runs along at a reasonable pace. Gets a little bit, I don't know, tiresome in the middle part, sort of thing. I think they do end up focusing a little bit too much on the relationship between the Claire and the Daryl characters, and that's, while they are the most grounded characters in the film and characters we're supposed to relate to, they're also arguably the dullest characters in the film. And they do focus quite heavily on their growing friendship that potentially could be blossoming into something more and that kind of stuff. Where what you really want to watch in a film like this is, you know, the fun in the attractions, you know, the people getting scared in the attraction, and this lunatic that's running around the attraction taking people out. It did kind of lose focus on that and lose sight on that, which is really what we're all here to watch. So it's a little bit of a surprise, this one. It's certainly not going to, you know, be massively memorable or anything. But I suppose one of the biggest compliments I can give it is it kept me interested throughout. I was certainly engaged watching it throughout, even though it's not of the highest quality that you'll ever watch in regards to any department. But there's some interesting fun kills in it, and it is certainly watchable, which is why I'm going to give it a 5 out of 10. So thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this review. I'll be back with more reviews and content on the channel very, very soon.